DMT is a powerful psychedelic compound that is found in substances like ayahuasca and can cause deep and vivid hallucinations. Check out my ayahuasca experiment if you're interested in that. However, surprisingly and interestingly, DMT is also found natively in the human body. We produce our own supply of DMT. It's not well understood scientifically why we produce DMT. It is believed that we release it upon birth, death, and during dreams. Putting the why aside for the moment, I'm going to teach you the how. How you can use breathing to access your own supply of DMT. I believe it was the famous rapper Biggie who once said, "Never get high on your own supply." However, in the case of our native supply of DMT, I must in fact insist that you do get high on your own supply of DMT, inshallah. Let's try it out. Before I continue, if you're interested in yoga, tantra, neuroscience, psychedelics, breath work, breath techniques, pranayama, kundalini, please do hit like and subscribe for more premium content. So breathing, big topic. It's something that we all do, but few of us do correctly. I'm going to give you a couple of tips to help you along with this DMT breath work. So tip number one, very important, when you sit to breathe, you are no longer a human being. We are a torso, a cylindrical torso that can be filled with air, and it can push the air out. That's all. Our legs don't exist, our problems don't exist, our memories don't exist, our future doesn't exist. We are just a cylinder that can pump air. Forget everything else. Next, turn your attention to where the breath is going. When you breathe in, I want you to notice and consciously expand the breath in your belly, and like a water balloon on a faucet, once it's full enough, it starts to go into the mid part, into the chest, and when that gets filled, coming all the way up to the neck and into the head. And when you exhale, use your abs. Remember, you're not a human. Not many options we have in this position. All we can do is inhale, it's deeply in the belly, chest, head, and we can exhale using the abs. Now, I'm over-exaggerating slightly for demonstration, but you get the idea. And finally, and this is a subtle point, I want you to change your relationship with breathing. Now, this is a little bit subtle, but bear with me. So, you're sitting and breathing with your eyes open, looking at this video. Notice yourself breathing, but more importantly, notice how you're noticing yourself breathing. From the outside, look at me. I'm a Homo sapien breathing. That's cool. Now try something else. Close your eyes and go inside. And instead of thinking about how you're breathing, use your intuition to follow your breath as it fills the belly. And as that feeling of fullness expands into your chest, upper chest, neck, and head. Again, using the abs, pressing the air out. The difference here is a difference in perception. When we close our eyes and watch the flow of breath into our belly, chest, and head, we're using our intuition to feel the breath, become lost in the rhythm of breath, and to become breath, rather than watching our breath from the outside and observing ourselves breathing. We follow our breath from the inside, not with our mind, but with our intuition. The Earthship is this physical mind-body carrier thing, which is transporting our consciousness through the human experience for approximately 80 to 100 years if we're lucky. We're riding in this thing. Our consciousness is obviously hyperdimensional. It doesn't come from here, but our bodies and our minds and our egos certainly do, and it's the duality between our consciousness and our Earthship that makes the human experience so interesting. So, let us prepare our Earthship. There are many ways to do this. You can do a yoga routine, you can do an exercise routine. It basically just means to warm up your body. I like to do it in the most efficient, chronically packed way as possible, which is why I enjoy practicing Hatha Yoga. However, there's also much shorter and simpler options you can do right before doing this breath technique that only take a couple of minutes. You can check out my video on push-up pranayama, which is a short breathwork exercise combining push-ups and breathing. It takes about 3 minutes to do one round. This is the perfect warm-up for this DMT breathwork exercise. Another thing that you can do, which I really have started to love, especially recently, is simply shaking. Exactly, just shake. Just shake. Shake for a minute or two. Just bouncing on your knees, shaking. Shaking, 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 shaking. Breathe and shake. If you feel tension somewhere in your shaking, breathe into that point of tension. Just keep shaking. Okay, so you've warmed up the body, you've greased up your Earthship, the physical container is ready to go. Let's release some DMT. This is how we're going to release DMT in our body using only our breath. This is not a guided meditation, rather it's an explanation of the technique, although I will certainly make a future video on a guided DMT meditation. This is more for you to understand the technique and gain the confidence necessary to do it by yourself and to live a better life. But first, safety. You know, yeah, you should be safe. Don't do this near water, operating heavy machinery, driving a car, if you're pregnant, if you have epilepsy. Basically, a good rule to follow is if you wouldn't do it if you are actually high, like if you had actually, smoked a DMT joint or done some other psychedelics, if you wouldn't do it in that state, then don't do it during this breathing, because we are going to induce very similar states of consciousness. Okay, so we're going to breathe 50 times fully and deeply, like so. About halfway through, so you're counting yourself, right? About halfway through, around breath 25, accelerate the pace of breathing. So you're starting out from breaths 1 to 25, like this. And around halfway through, accelerate your breathing like this. The mechanics of the breath into the belly and the chest and the head, and the awareness of the breath in the belly, chest, and the head, and the flow of the breath remains unchanged. The only thing that changes is that it's now faster. So a key point to note here is that breathing is like an exercise. Well, breathing is an exercise. And the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. You might find that when you started out breathing, you were focused, internal awareness, full breaths. But the moment you accelerated, your breaths got shorter or your awareness got distracted. That's fine. Notice yourself becoming distracted. Bring it back to the breath. It's totally fine. It will improve with practice. Anyways, we're breathing. And on breath 50, on the 50th inhale all the way in deeply, and exhale, using your abs to push the air out. Exhale, keep the breath out. Engage the abs by pulling them inwards and upwards in Uddiyana Bandha. Hold the breath out for as long as feels comfortable without strain, feeling the equilibrium between the two sides of your body. And when you're ready to breathe in, important, first release your abs. Then breathe in. Fill the belly and the chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades downwards and together. And what this does is opens up extra space in the upper chest and neck, allowing the air from the belly and the lower chest to flood the head. And once you've saturated your entire earth ship with air, squeeze. Squeeze the shoulder blades down and together. Squeeze the abs inwards and upwards. You can tilt the head up slightly, squeezing more air into the head. Earth ship full of air. And after about 20 or 30 seconds, let go. Let's see how that feels. Feels good, huh? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now here's the thing, you're probably feeling good, but I guarantee you, if you practice this every day, practice the steps that I've shown you, the physical preparation of the body, the focus on the internal landscape of your breath, the minimization of the pauses between the inhale and the exhale. Keeping all of these things in mind, treat this like a practice, like a sport, like a skill, something that you can improve, because breathing is a skill. Breathing is something we do automatically, but it doesn't mean that it cannot be improved exponentially. So practice this every day. You will get better. And how do you know you're getting better? You get more high. You're going to get more high. You're going to feel more great. You're going to have a better experience. So just keep practicing. Have fun.